Welcome to another CIRF report, everybody. This one for June 5th, June 6th, 2019. We have some interesting alignments, iChing reading. We have also a DreamBot that, shouldn't be surprised, it does triangulate very nicely with what's happening in the stars. But there's so much going on in the stars that it could be easy to kind of get confused about which influences are strong, and that's why we triangulate. Now, this is going to be June 5th. That's a Wednesday. And right off the bat, we're opening up to the moon conjunct with Mars. Now, that feeling in and of itself is quite powerful, moving forward. That's the Mars energy is moving forward in Yang, but the problem is we're in tropical Cancer, which is a water sign, and water, it's like running in water. It just takes longer. It's more effort. Everything can kind of feel heavy and slowed down. Not only that, but later on, the moon makes an opposition with Saturn, which can throw even more hurdles into the mess, which poses even more, more heaviness or more sluggishness. Not only that, you have moon trine up to Neptune. So all in all, I mean, Neptune being kind of like forcing you to not be able to see very clearly. So what you might be thinking you're doing is maybe a little bit off, or you might be imagining the scenario incorrectly or whatever. So it's throwing a little bit of a unreality into the mess. Now, kind of battling between going to the 6th or to describe what we have over here. This happens to be the iChing readings, and I wanted to highlight these because there's a phenomenon happening here with a potential grand water trine on Wednesday, because the iChing reading starts with hexagram 50, which in the Rave mandala overlaps with Scorpio, the tropical Scorpio, and then the change line threw us into hexagram 14. My point is that we have in our midst on Wednesday a pseudo grand water trine if we include the iChing reading with Scorpio. And so that makes this watery energy, emotional energy, much stronger than I think most of us realize. Okay, and we're going to look at the rest of the astrology for, this is Thursday, and then we'll get into the iChing reading and the DreamBot. So on Thursday, you have the moon that continues its transit and then makes an opposition to Pluto. That's very deep and subconscious material might come up. Moon square Uranus, so a square kind of throws in some unexpected changes towards the end of the day. So on Thursday, I forgot to mention that early in the morning is a sextile to Venus. So that goes really nicely with the Cancer, the tropical Cancer emotional waters of relationships and whatnot. So let's get into, I'm going to take this pointer off and we'll get into the iChing reading. We've seen this before. We started with the cauldron. This is hexagram 50, and we had a change line. That's going to be very important with the line 1, a 6 in the first line, and that change line takes us to hexagram 14, possession in great measure. This sounds really, really great. So what is the 50 here? This is the cauldron. And the image is fire over wood, the image of cauldron. Thus, the superior man consolidates his fate by making his position correct. Now, we in past readings, we have covered 50, but in this one, I want to cover this change line in particular. This is 6 at the beginning, means a tinge with legs upturned. In other words, the cauldron is upside down. Every person of goodwill can in some way or other succeed, no matter how lowly he may be, provided he is ready to purify himself. He is accepted. He attains a station in which he can prove himself fruitful in accomplishment, and as a result, he gains recognition. So this change line in the cauldron means turn your cauldrons over, start purifying all the junk that you've been carrying through from the past, and get ready for the energy of possession in great measure. Let's go to hexagram 14. The judgment is possession in great measure, supreme success. The image is fire in heaven above, the image of possession in great measure. Thus, the superior man curbs evil and furthers good, and thereby obeys the benevolent will of heaven. This quote here is very important for all of us to remember. The time is favorable, a time of strength within, clarity and culture without. Power is expressing itself in a graceful and controlled way. This brings supreme success and wealth. Now, the question is, does the DreamBot agree with this? And really couldn't agree more. No surprise to most of you who have been here. The red arrows is all about go. It's ride, bullet, train. So everything going forward, ammunition, inline, gaming, ace. And then in the blue arrows, it's about stop. So we have a stop-go paradigm, which is directly correlated to this whole Mars in Cancer. So the stop words, I don't need to read those, I don't think, but nap and disabled, etc., etc. But very, very Cancer-like or Cancer-esque. And then lastly, we have possession arrows with kind of a Gemini flavor, and we're going to get to that, the solution. But you've got words like excellent and galaxy. In this case, is a form of technology. We have the word tech. We have pool. So these are like possessions and wealth that directly correlates with the I-Ching reading. So what are we looking at in terms of solution? We go to the Sidereal Astrology, and you can see even on Thursday, it's heavily weighted on the moon aspects. These are all minor, but they are very much correlated with both the I-Ching and the DreamBot. And so we need to be cognizant of this grand water trine. First of all, that was a grand water trine in tropical, but that puts us over here in sidereal Gemini. So here's the solution. We're going to exaggerate the Gemini energy in order that your riches runneth over. But success is going to come to the pure at heart. We know that Geminis, not all Geminis are automatically pure by heart. So you have to rid yourself or eliminate the toxic past and get your cauldron empty so that you can have and you can come to the world with a pure intentions and a balanced attitude, which is in the realm of Gemini. But let's go a little bit more into detail about what we need to be doing. And by the way, you can find these slides on Interzension. If you look at, go Facebook and look up Interzension. But anyway, these influences are straight out of the Gemini influence, but with the addition of the I-Ching reading. So purify your intentions first, and then create balance primarily through your intellect and your curiosity. Geminis are very intellectual. They're very curious. They want to figure things out. They're very social, or can be very social. Good networker. They're very adaptable and agile. That's the kind of thing that you need to be. But like all the other signs, Geminis also have their downside. And so they can end up being a little bit lecturing instead of talking with other people, overly talkative, very wordy, dishonest. They can be exaggerated, emotionally detached, can even be manipulative and cunning. So we don't want to burn bridges. You don't want to get too opinionated and all that. You want to just come in with a pure, clean heart, and then very balanced. And you can do that with the Gemini influence of intellectual and curiosity. I think that's a wrap, and I hope I covered everything to your satisfaction. We'll see you again on Thursday. Thanks, everybody.